Alright, let's start working on building the gas tank for this project. Now, I've been trying to figure out where's the best spot to put a gas tank. Because of how small this thing is and how compact it is, there's really not that many good spots for a gas tank. My general thought has always been to just put it right here. This is the same spot where we have it in the Mini Baja Bug project, and it kind of works there. So, should work here. I did have a thought for a little bit to put the gas tank right here, kind of next to the seats. There is a decent amount of space right here. But then I realized if we do that, I feel like we're just adding too much weight in the back end of this thing. And already right now, most of the weight is in the back end. So to make the weight distribution a little bit better, I think let's just add the gas tank in the front, right in here. Now, this is generally how big or how long the gas tank can be. But obviously it can be very deep because it has to fit underneath the fiberglass, and my legs have to fit underneath here to be able to reach the pedals and everything. But there is some more space on the sides right here, on both sides, where this is just mostly empty space, to where I can make it deeper right in here. So yeah, obviously I'm going to try to make it as big as possible, but I also need to make sure that it fits in here without being in the way of anything, and we can also easily remove it from the frame. Now, in case you guys are wondering how cold it is in here, yeah, my quench bucket is literally a block of ice. Yeah, I definitely wanted to utilize as much as possible this empty space right in here on both sides, and I think it worked out perfectly because, yeah, this is definitely going to give us a decent amount of fuel capacity, which is awesome because I never really liked how small the gas tank is on the Mini Baja Bug projects. Now, right now the front suspension is collapsed. This is the lowest the front end can go, just so I can make sure the top A-arms aren't going to hit the bottom of the gas tank, because I tried to mount this as low as possible in here to just try to utilize all this empty dead space right here. Now, This was pretty much the hardest part of this gas tank, just figuring out where this is gonna go and, you know, how much space can we occupy right here, specifically where this needs to go and still allow plenty of room for our legs and everything. So now that that's done, now it's just a lot easier stuff of just covering the backside on both sides, covering the front, covering this right here. We need to put baffles in this and then put a top over it. Yeah, it took me 2 days to be able to get this gas tank to this point. This is probably the most complicated gas tank I have ever had to make, trying to get as much fuel capacity for this vehicle in this tiny little cramped space. Now, I did put baffles in here, because obviously a gas tank of this size definitely needs baffles and everything. I only added 2 of them, because I think 2 of them, I think that's enough. Now, I did make it to where the top of the baffle is convex a little bit, so therefore when the top piece goes on, it should allow airflow to go through the top to allow everything to work properly. Now, tomorrow we'll start working on adding the top piece. I was going to try and do it in one big piece of aluminum, but looking at it, there's a bend that we're going to have to do here. There's probably a twist on both sides, because yeah, this is not a flat piece of aluminum. There's a lot of bends and a lot of twists that I'm going to have to do, so it may just be easier to do it out of 3 separate pieces of aluminum. So yeah, once we get the top piece installed, then we need to weld this whole thing together and then figure out how we're mounting it in the frame. Alright, let's weld this thing together. I'm not going to show the whole process of welding, but just, I'll show some highlights or something. I don't know. So last night we got the gas tank mostly welded together, or not mostly. We got it all welded together, not mostly. So last night we got the gas tank all welded together. Now next thing we need to do, obviously, is somehow mount this in the frame, because right now it's kind of just sitting here. Now, normally to mount a gas tank like this, I just weld tabs onto the gas tank and then weld tabs onto the frame and then just bolt it to the frame. That's kind of the easiest way I've figured out to mount gas tanks like this. But I realized if we add tabs to the front and to the back sticking out, which is pretty much the only spot to mount tabs on this gas tank, then that makes it to where we can't remove the gas tank because the tabs would have to be sticking out past where this frame is. And then the tabs would be hitting the frame and just making it to where we could not remove the gas tank. So I gotta figure out a different way to do this. Now I do think it would be fine if we add some tabs to the front as long as they're close to the bottom. So therefore we can just lift the gas tank mostly out and then we'll rock it forward to get it all the way out. So I think that's fine. But that makes it to where I can't add any tabs on the back. There's no room underneath. There's no room underneath here. There's no room on top. And the same issue on the side of this gas tank. So I have to figure out a different way to somehow mount this gas tank on the back. Now, I do think if I machine a couple bungs that get welded into the gas tank, those will be mostly flush with the gas tank. So therefore we can put a bolt into the gas tank instead of a tab that sticks out, and we put a bolt through that. So I think that'll work fine. So let me machine a couple bungs that we will weld into the back side of the gas tank. You know what I forgot to turn on? I forgot to turn on the argon. Whoopsies. Dang it. And that was a freshly ground tungsten too. Well, let me clean it up and try again. So I'm running into the issue of I'm trying to seal this off, but because it's an enclosed container and there's no vents on here right now, as I'm trying to weld this, it's obviously welding is heating it up, causing the air to expand. The air has to go somewhere and it's trying to escape out this hole as I'm trying to weld it, causing porosity. Now, yeah, I'll finish welding these once we install the gas cap and the drain ports, because once we install those, this thing won't be completely sealed off. Alright, so now somehow I gotta weld the aluminum tabs to the gas tank while being able to barely get at them. So this will be a challenge. Alright, so for the gas cap, I'm going to first figure out exactly where I want it on the fiberglass, and then I'll cut the hole in the fiberglass, and then I'll use that to figure out exactly where to put it on the gas tank. Now, with the way this bottom of the bottom of this gas tank is shaped, I need to have two drains coming out of the bottom of this gas tank. Otherwise, if we just have one on one side, the fuel in the bottom of this side is not going to be able to get to the engine. So we need to have two of them. And I'll make it to where both fuel lines go to one fuel line that goes to the pulse pump. Alright, so it's now time to pressure test the gas tank. Now, I have it set to around, I don't know, 15 psi, or 15 to 20. This gas tank is never going to see any more than the max of 2 psi, but I just want to pressure test it just to make sure nothing's leaking. Just make sure it won't blow up first. Alright, no leaks on this thing, which is awesome. Dare I say it, I feel like I'm getting better at aluminum welding. I remember the first couple gas tanks that I made out of aluminum, there would be like 5 to 7 little pinholes everywhere that I'd have to fix. So, I think I'm getting better at this. It definitely helps with that Everlast TIG welder that I have. That machine is awesome. Now, pretty much the only spot to put the drains for this gas tank is on the outside of where I want to do all the paneling right here, which is, it's not great, I know, but there's really no other spot to put these. I think they'll be fine because they're not really vulnerable to getting hit. I mean, it's behind the suspension, behind the tires, so I think these will be fine. So, gas tank is now finished. Now, I am really curious how many gallons this thing can hold. But I think the easiest way to figure that out is just by taking gallon jugs and just filling it and counting how many gallons I put in here until it fills up. I mean, I probably could calculate the gallons by figuring out the dimensions of this, but with how complicatedly shaped this thing is, that's a lot of complicated math, and I suck at math. So maybe eventually I'll take a gallon jug and just keep filling it up to figure out how many gallons. I want to say this thing can maybe hold around 4, maybe 5 gallons, which should be plenty for this vehicle, even though the Mini Baja Bug project, that gas tank maybe holds around 2.5 gallons. I've never actually run out of fuel with that vehicle. I've gotten close to running out, but I've never actually run out. So that's actually why I put the Rotopacks on that vehicle. So this being a much bigger gas tank, I don't think we need to put Rotopacks on this vehicle. Now, even though today is Saturday, it'd be kind of nice to end this video here. I kind of feel like I should get a little bit more done than just building the gas tank in this video. So now that the gas tank's done, pedals are installed, gear shifters installed, CVT covers installed, the radio's installed, everything this vehicle needs, aside from the skid plates, which we'll actually be able to install the skid plates a little bit easier with this thing fully disassembled. So now that most of everything on this vehicle is installed, we can now start working on disassembling this whole thing and welding the frame together. Well, how's that gonna work? Well, at least I can remove the front differential, but yeah, how's this gonna work? So I actually put these back on just because I don't really want them to warp when I weld them, especially this one. Now, what are we gonna do with the rack and pinion? Now, yeah, I really thought that I would be able to just slide it out through here, but yeah, that's clearly not working. Now, I think if I just cut a little bit of this right here, we don't need to cut much, just a little bit right here, I think I'll be able to pull this out. There we go.